to the MTL World at Middle World 1 YouTube channel. Swallowed Star 2, Origin Continent. Volume 10, Breaking Through with Force. Chapter 368, I Saw It. 6th of Volume 10. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Luo Feng felt joy in his heart. Among the 73 world-class Xuanhuan bloodlines that resonated with him, he had comprehended over 70% of 15 of them. However, for the remaining ones, he had also grasped at least 40% to 50%. Each world-class Xuanhuan bloodline, through the process of contemplation, filling in secret patterns, and comparing bloodlines, had granted Luo Feng many insights. The steady sense of progress naturally delighted him. As long as he didn't stop, he would inevitably go further and further. I understand now why the physical bodies of world-class Xuanhuan beings can be so massive, Luo Feng murmured softly. The physical bodies of world-class Xuanhuan lifeforms far surpass those of high-level Xuanhuan beings, reaching about 1% the size of a normal origin world. By comparison, the average physical body of a Xuanhuan progenitor is only about 1/10 the size of an origin world. The difference between them lay more in their mastery of power rather than their physical forms. At the world-class Xuanhuan stage, the physical body system is already near perfection. In Luo Feng's mind, a framework for the physical body system was gradually taking shape, one constructed from the life and destruction mysteries extracted from numerous world-class Xuanhuan bloodlines. Luo Feng's original accumulation of knowledge primarily consisted of 4 systems: the spiritual will consciousness system, the life system, the destruction system, and the Xuanhuan power system. These 4 systems were the foundation for constructing the complete Xuanhuan realm life and death Tao in the future. Now, Luo Feng is gradually exploring the physical body system, which is the 5th component. The Xuanhuan realm life death Tao I pursue aims for the ultimate expansion of a life form. Thus, the physical body system is extremely important to me. Luo Feng began organizing the remaining 2,000+ world-class Xuanhuan bloodlines. From the simplest to the most complex, he methodically studied them one by one. Thanks to his prior accumulation from the 73 world-class Xuanhuan bloodlines, Luo Feng found the process slightly easier. For all 22,729 kinds of world-class Xuanhuan bloodlines, Luo Feng patiently studied each one. After completing one round, he proceeded to a second, then a third. Again and again. With each iteration, Luo Feng gained new insights. After all, as his accumulation deepened, he could always uncover new revelations. He didn't know how much time had passed. Almost. No matter how much more I try to comprehend these world-class Xuanhuan bloodlines, the gains are now negligible. After over 30 rounds of comprehension, Luo Feng finally stopped. He treasured these world-class Xuanhuan bloodlines and corpse materials dearly. It was only because Lord Xingmeng had gathered them all that he had the chance to study them exhaustively, which was why he had been so patient in his repeated examinations. Life, destruction, and those combining both among them, I've fully comprehended all low-level and high-level Xuanhuan bloodlines. As for world-class Xuanhuan bloodlines, I've comprehended 43. The rest have also been studied multiple times, but it is difficult to make any further significant progress. Luo Feng's eyes burned with fervor. Now, it's time to comprehend the Xuanhuan progenitor corpse materials. After being summoned to the origin land, Luo Feng hadn't attempted to create his Xuanhuan realm life death Tao. Instead, he had been steadily accumulating knowledge. In his view, if he couldn't even comprehend Xuanhuan progenitor level materials, how could he possibly construct the Xuanhuan realm life death Tao? In order to comprehend Xuanhuan progenitor level materials, he first needed to thoroughly comprehend the low-level, high-level, and world-class Xuanhuan bloodlines. I've been in seclusion in the origin land for 350 million epochs. Finally, I'm ready to comprehend Xuanhuan progenitor level materials. Inside the quiet chamber, Luo Feng took a sip of fruit wine, another item he had exchanged with reward points. 100,000 points had bought him a unit that would last him at least a billion epochs, and its effects were excellent. Origin land, I need to examine Xuanhuan progenitor level materials, Luo Feng said. As of now, the practitioner faction has slain a total of 17 Xuanhuan progenitors. Including those purchased from other factions, there are 31 Xuanhuan progenitor level corpse materials available. Luo Feng was stunned when he heard this. The lords of his faction were truly formidable. They had killed 17 Xuanhuan progenitors in total. At the same time, this also indicated that some Xuanhuan progenitors had died under other circumstances. In the infinite Xuanhuan space, there were indeed many dangers lurking. Are there any with life or destruction secret patterns exceeding 70%? Luo Feng asked. None, the origin land responded. Luo Feng froze. Among the world-class Hunyuan bloodlines he had previously selected, over 2,000 had life and destruction patterns totaling more than 70%. But among the Hunyuan progenitor-level corpse materials, not a single one met this criterion. What about those where the two combined exceed 60%? None, the origin land replied again. Luo Feng frowned, sensing something amiss. Send me all available information on the 31 Hunyuan progenitor-level materials I'm authorized to access. Acknowledged. Soon, detailed intelligence on all 31 deceased Hunyuan progenitors, including material data, was transmitted to Luo Feng. Upon reviewing it, Luo Feng discovered something startling. Among these fallen Hunyuan progenitors, the highest proportion of life-type secret patterns was only about 39%. The corpse material of Wangxing Hunyuan progenitor, with life-type patterns at roughly 34%, was already the second highest. Their life-type secret patterns are generally low. Perhaps this is one of the reasons they perished. After all, the life-death Dao Luo Feng pursued was based on life. He knew that if life-type patterns were sufficiently advanced, they would grant immense ability to preserve life. Let's begin. First, I'll study the Wangxing Hunyuan progenitor corpse material. Though Wangxing Hunyuan progenitor ranked second among the 31 Hunyuan progenitors in life-type patterns, it was the source of the blood scale from the Star Tower. Luo Feng's cultivation path had been guided by it, making it the most compatible choice for his first study. The origin land. The Hunyuan progenitors are making their move, Lord Xingmeng's voice echoed in the ears of the other 6 lords. They've only rested for 500 epochs, and they're already launching another attack. Some of them probably haven't even fully recovered yet. On one side were over 70 Hunyuan progenitors, on the other, only 7 lords. Yet, the lords had mastered Hunyuan realm Daos, the essence of the highest level of powers in the infinite Hunyuan space. Some of their techniques were unstoppable, striking without fail. Even after being weakened layer by layer, their power still seeped into the Hunyuan progenitors' bodies. After all, it is difficult to completely purge a lord's invasive power from the body. Even after 500 epochs, several Hunyuan progenitors still hadn't fully recovered. These Hunyuan progenitors are truly desperate. They were originally the greatest force in the infinite Hunyuan space. After several clashes, we've slain over a dozen of them. Now, they're frantic. They want to eradicate the practitioner faction's foundation entirely. The lords understood this well. The vast territories and countless origin worlds allowed a continuous emergence of practitioner geniuses. Right now, there were 7 lords, but in the future, there could be 8, 9, or even more. If all territories were conquered and all origin worlds became their food, they could periodically annihilate the life within them. Without new generations of strong practitioners, the 7 lords would merely be a relatively powerful faction in the infinite Hunyuan space, unable to shake the dominance of the innate Hunyuan lifeform faction. After all, their endless numbers ensured a constant birth of new progenitors. Let's go. Set off. Although they had only rested for 500 epochs and were still slightly weary, the 7 lords set out together. Led by Lord Xingmeng, they swiftly traversed vast stretches of space-time to intercept the advancing group of Hunyuan progenitors. It's a pity. The younger practitioners are all too weak. None show any hope of becoming a lord. Yuan, the first lord of the practitioner faction, had poured countless efforts into nurturing the faction's territories. Every fallen world cluster felt like a wound carved into his heart. He yearned for a turning point, for the emergence of a new lord. In recent times, they had invested vast resources, even granting substantial support to semi-Hunyuan realm practitioners who had mastered 2 Daos. Yet, there was still no sign of a new lord emerging. Luo Feng has been in seclusion for over 500 million epochs. Comprehending 43 world-class Hunyuan bloodlines is indeed impressive. But it's still far from enough to become a lord. Yuan sighed inwardly. Historically, among practitioners who pursued fusion Daos, only 5 had ever managed to comprehend 43 world-class Hunyuan bloodlines. Before Lord Xingmeng's rise, the origin land had possessed less than half the number of world-class Hunyuan bloodlines it did now. Luo Feng's performance simply didn't show the potential to become a lord. Time flowed like a river, silent and unceasing. It took me another 300 million epochs to study all of the 31 Hunyuan progenitor corpse materials. Luo Feng gazed at the vast void within his quiet chamber, where projections of the 31 massive secret pattern diagrams floated. These patterns were somewhat chaotic. Since there were no complete bloodlines or life cores, these patterns were the best reconstructions the origin land could provide. 300 million epochs. Luo Feng could feel that his accumulation in the 5 major systems: spiritual will consciousness system, physical body system, life system, destruction system, and Hunyuan power system had deepened, but none had undergone a qualitative transformation. These fallen Hunyuan progenitors. The secret patterns within their bodies lack a clear, dominant core. They're too scattered. Luo Feng shook his head slightly. If life-type patterns accounted for 50% and destruction-type for 30%, they could naturally serve as an absolute core, with the remaining patterns acting as supplementary elements. The entire pattern diagram would then possess an elegant symmetry. But the 31 Hunyuan progenitors before him all exhibited disorganized patterns. Among them, the one considered the strongest, Scorching Serpent Hunyuan progenitor, had flame-type patterns making up about 31%, life-type at 19%, space-type at 12%, time-type at 11%, and matter-type at 9%. From its patterns alone, it was clear that no single type dominated. This kind of scattered pattern distribution was the norm among the 31 deceased Hunyuan progenitors. Based on my research into low-level, high-level, and world-class Hunyuan beings, the higher the proportion of a single pattern type, the stronger the being is within its realm. Luo Feng had long noticed this. Whether it was high-level Hunyuan beings like Ember Phantom, Abyssal Calamity Beast, or Nine-Headed Chaos Beast, or world-class Hunyuan beings like Starsea Demon Lord, or Life-Death Eye Beast, the principle held true. The same principle applies for lords. For example, Lord Xing Meng had comprehended the Hunyuan realm space-time Dao, while Lord Jin had mastered the Hunyuan realm destruction Dao. Even fusion Daos are, in essence, a single Dao. Luo Feng understood this well. His own, life and death Dao, is one Dao. All lords had comprehended a single Hunyuan realm Dao. The lords are all highly focused. Meanwhile, the Hunyuan progenitors had tapped into their bloodline potential haphazardly, digging a little here, a little there, resulting in superficial mastery across many areas. Their bodies contained dozens of different pattern mysteries, yet they combined them flawlessly to wield supreme power. Luo Feng studied these patterns. What a coincidence. Luo Feng looked at the 31 secret patterns. The 31 reconstructed pattern diagrams before him, though likely only 70 to 80% accurate to the Hunyuan progenitors, true bloodlines, still revealed something crucial. Despite their disorder, they merged perfectly, forming a cohesive whole. Luo Feng observed. From this perspective, reaching the Hunyuan progenitor level is an incredibly high threshold. Origin continent. Luo Feng sat alone atop a towering pavilion, gazing at the vast world before him. Master, it's rare for you to emerge from seclusion. Morosa stood nearby, attending to his master. Though he now held immense authority in the origin continent, even the two ancient kingdoms deferred to him. Morosa's greatest joy was still serving Luo Feng. Morosa, Luo Feng said, you've managed the origin continent well. To serve you is my greatest honor. Morosa replied with fervent pride. Luo Feng nodded, his eyes sweeping across the endless land. Yet, the true crisis came from outside. If the innate Hunyuan lifeform faction broke through their defenses and the Dark World cluster fell, the beings of the origin continent would be powerless to resist. This world. Luo Feng's third eye, the bionic eye of life and death, opened on his forehead. Now far more profound than before, and augmented by his immensely powerful spiritual will, this eye could perceive the entire origin world even beyond its boundaries. My hometown, the origin world. Under the gaze of his bionic eye of life and death, Luo Feng could clearly discern the traces of its fundamental rules. 9 great Daos intertwined seamlessly, operating in perfect harmony to form the origin world's governing laws. The origin world's core. This was the source of the 9 great Daos, the heart of the world's operation, and the wellspring of its power. As long as the core remained intact, even if the origin world is destroyed, it could be reborn. But if the core is lost, the origin world would vanish forever. What most attracted the innate Hunyuan lifeforms is precisely this, origin world core. It held boundless wonders. Even a world-class Hunyuan being who devoured it had a sliver of hope to advance to the Hunyuan progenitor level. The core. Luo Feng frowned slightly. The 9 great Daos merged flawlessly to form the core. Having spent hundreds of millions of epochs studying the 31 Hunyuan progenitor materials, their pattern diagrams were now etched deep into his mind. At this moment, the secret patterns of the 31 Hunyuan progenitor level materials emerged in his mind. The seemingly chaotic fusion of multiple Dao patterns into a unified whole. And now, the 9 great Daos combining to form the origin world core. Boom. Luo Feng's eyes lit up. He saw it. He finally understood why origin worlds are so powerful. And why those Hunyuan progenitors had reached their level. I see now. Luo Feng murmured softly. At last, through the layers of obscurity. He had glimpsed the path. The path of breaking through with force. And it lay right beneath his feet. Blank, __________. End of chapter. Subscribe to MTL World at Mittelworld 1 YouTube channel.